Okay, so we are online. So the question was on understanding about Mara. So we had spoken on that day, so thought about doing a complete understanding on, and also how do we practice it, meaning how do we identify and how do we practice it. So there are 5 Maras which we had looked into. So the first Mara is the Khanda Mara. So the 5 Khandas, what is there? Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. That is the form, feeling, perceptions. Then the willful actions and consciousness. These 5 Maras. Then we can come into the next Mara, which is the Klesha Mara. So whatever the defilements that are there, that will be the second Mara. Then the Devaputta Mara is another Mara. Then the fourth Mara would be Marana, which is death. And the fifth one is the Abhisankara Mara, which is 3 of the volitional, which means willful actions, what is being done. One is the Punyabhi Sankhara, which will give rebirth in good destination. Apunyabhi Sankhara, which will give rebirth in bad destination. Anenjabi Sankhara, which will give rebirth in a destination in Arupa or Rupa realm due to jhana. But all of them are Mara. Then there is another set of Mara called as Army of Mara, Mara Sena. So I will read out and then we will go through each one of them and what we need to do with that. So it starts like this: Kama te patama sena dutiya arati uchchati tatiya kuppipasa te chatutta tanha pavucchati panchami thinamiddam te chattha bhiru pavacchati sattama Visikiccha te makko thambo te attami labo siloko sakkaro michha saddhocha yo yaso yo chattanam samukam se parecha avajanati esa namuchi te sena kanha sa abhi paharani natam asuro jinati jetva cha labate sukham. So what it really means: Kama, enjoyment of the 5 senses and relishing that in the 6th sense is Kama. So Kama is the first of the army. Then Arati is the dissatisfaction. Kuppipasa is hunger and thirst. Tanha is the 4th. Thinnamida is sluggishness and laziness of body and the mind. Bhiru is the fear. Visikiccha is the skeptical doubt, is the 7th. Makho Tambo is disparagement of others, that means bringing others down. And stubbornness, Thambo is stubbornness. Labo, Siloko, Sakkaro and Michha Saddho, profit, fame, prestige and wrong faith. These 4 makes a person go in round seeking it and praising himself and despising others. These Namuchi are your armies. The dark forces who take over, which cannot be overcome by a lazy person. Natam asuro jinati, one who has seen the asura, the demon, and will win over to get complete happiness, labate sukham, which is nibbana. Now we need to understand what is this meaning and reference of Mara. Mara is the term used to depict one which brings in hindrance of one form or the other. That means it brings in hindrance to experience Nibbana. Apart from the five senses and relishing by the sixth sense, the biggest of the hindrance for every human being is sleep. So there are two kinds of sleep. One is a mental sleep, one is a physical sleep. So the body becomes very tired, very heavy, very lazy to move around. So there is no energy. Sorry. And because of that, the mind is also equally lazy, equally not alert, and it procrastinate. What you want to do today, it will move to tomorrow. So apart from the karma, the biggest of the obstacle for doing anything is this laziness, hinamida. Along with that, the greatest problem of everyone, every being, is food, ahara. So kupipasa, hunger and thirst. So a person is held upon the kama, kupipasa and thinamida. What does a person dislike the most? Death, marana. So there is fear. And then there are so many traditions, be it Buddha or be it Hindu or be it whatever it is. Within that there are many traditions. All of those traditions create different kind of doubts. If I am following Burmese against some other practice, there is a doubt whether that is the right one or not the right one. If I am following the Mahayana, then there is a different way of doing of the same thing. They say that is one which is for second Buddha and all that will come. So that is a difference. So that is again a doubt. Then there is Sri Lankan, another kind of doubt. Then there is Thai. Then there are so many things. Then there is Indian, like that. And also the interpretation, like the Buddha Ghosa's commentary, which has happened after the Buddha. So their commentary is kept in a more higher level than the Sutta itself in some part of the world. So people go by Visuddhi Magga or Vishuddhi Marga. And there are so many different kind of traditions. So then when we pick up a tradition and we start following the tradition, doubt will come whether this is the right one or the wrong one. And any doubt of any kind on anything is Mara. So the basic aim of Mara is to have obstacles. So apart from these five Mara what we spoke about, the Mara of death, Marana, Khanda Mara, which is Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara and Vijnana, Abhisankhara Mara, the volitional or the willful activities that are taken by the person from the time of his birth to the time of death, doing something or the other all the time, which creates rebirth consciousness. Klesha Mara is the mental defilements which torment the being with Raga, Dvesha and Moha, and Devaputta Mara is the godly Mara who is visible only to the Buddhas, not to the person who becomes an Arhat. So, when we start on the Buddha Dhamma, the first thing that has to be eliminated, no matter which tradition we follow, is on Buddha Dhamma Sangha. That has to be correctly understood. No matter whether we are following Theravada or we are following the Neo-Buddhism or the Navayana Buddhism of Ambedkar, or we are following Chinese, or we are following Tibetan, or we are following the Burmese, or we are following Thai, or following whatever we are following. If we are following Buddha teaching, then one needs to have complete faith in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha in terms of what is Buddha, what is Dhamma and what is Sangha. Now, after knowing the meaning of Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, one needs to filter out other remaining things out of there, because there are a lot of distortion in every given tradition. Not that it were added because there should have been distortion. It happens over a period of time. Not that anybody will do it by purpose. Nobody does it by purpose, but it happens because of the commentaries, because of the interpretation, because of explanation, because of the language, because of the content. All of these are Mara, because the idea of Mara is to make sure that the person doesn't reach the end destination. So, first biggest problem is Visikiccha. And most of the time we get so worked up on Visikiccha that it is not possible to get out of it at all. So now, how should I practice is the question. So you have to use the 7 Bhujanga factors to remove the Visikiccha. Meaning to say that we need to start with Sati Sambhujanga. Sati is remembrance. So we need to remember on the Kaya, Vedana, Chitta and Dhamma. Remember what? Remember what the mind is doing at that point in time. So I am at present having Visikiccha. So even in the Dhammanupassana, Buddha talks about the 5 Nivarnas. Out of that Visikiccha has come. So I need to accept that at this moment the Visikiccha has come. Now I need to go to the Dhamma Vishaya. Here it is Sammaditthi. So what I need to do is to remove that Visikiccha, I need to go to the Sammaditthi Sutta, where Sariputta explains what is the meaning of the word Sammaditthi. So what I am going to do is, apart from understanding the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, I will take out the Sammaditthi Sutta and I will start to look at what I need to do. The first thing I need to do is to remove the 10 akusala and replace it with 10 kusala, for which whatever might be the interpretation by anyone, akusala is akusala. So there can't be any other interpretation of akusala. And non-killing is non-killing, no matter who will interpret in what given way. So I need to do something like that. So when I start to do something like that, the doubt starts to vanish. Because I can see it within myself that it is working. Okay, this is the first thing I can do. Then I can look at the ahara, food. I can practice that. Then I can practice the Four Noble Truth. Then I can practice the Paticcasamutpada itself in the Sammaditthi. So Dhamma Vichaya, when I am able to understand it correctly, the Mara, the Khandas, the Mara of the Khanda, the Mara of Abhisankara, except for Marana, the Mara of Klesha, this will reduce. So this 10 armies of Mara will not really harm me because I'm able to go deeper into it. This after understanding anicca, dukkha, anatta nature. So the first thing I need to know is that everything is an anicca and dukkha and anatta. That itself is part of the Mara, that you are not able to see that as anicca, dukkha, anatta. We are able to see it as nitya, atta, sukha and subha. So once I do that, that is, once I do look at the sati and Dhamma Vichaya, I start putting in the effort, virya sambojjhanga. So I try to put in good amount of effort so that the thinnamida is not there. Because that I am looking at the ahara, the kupipasa is also taken care, because I am reflecting on the pacchavekkhana requisites. What are the requisites? Because I start doing that, then I get into piti. So piti sambojjhanga, that means I feel very happy, very light in body, very light in the mind, filled with joy, and I am so smiling that typical smile comes because of that enjoyment what I am having, which then makes me to experience Pasiddhi Sambojjhanga. Is tranquil, calm, peace. And then I am on Samadhi. While I am on Samadhi, then the Kama, Arati, Kupipasa, Tanha, Thinnamida, Bhiru, Visikiccha, Bakho, Tambo, Labo, Siloko, Sakkaro, Micha, Saddho does not torture me at all. Mara cannot get into this. So the hindrance of not able to penetrate is gone. Instead, the penetration becomes quite a good experience. So we can then remain in Upekha, which is the fourth jhana. So Upekha Sambojjhanga. So by practicing Sambojjhanga, we are able to establish in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha and defeat the Mara. The three Maras, Khanda Mara, Klesha Mara, Abhisankhara Mara. Other two Maras, nothing can be done. Marana anyway is going to happen. And Devaputta Mara, we can't do anything about it. But the remaining is taken care. So, this is what we can do about Mara. Now this is the elimination of Mara. So first is that identification of Mara, which is we come to know what is Mara, these 5 Maras. Then we come to know the army of the Mara, the 10 army of Mara. So when we are contented, and in another sutta which we have already done, Sangiti Sutta, Sariputta explains about 6 ways of escape. The first way of escape is to apply the metta. So the abhijja can be removed. Vyapada can be removed. So when I see everyone suffering, every being suffering of death, so there's no point in having to lose the peace and come up with anger. Not required. So what I can do is I can apply metta, because everybody is going to die. So all beings, I can have a good relationship, and they can die out of food, they can die out of shelter, they can die out of clothing or medicine or whatever, of infection, of accident, like in the case of ant and cockroaches and lizards and other small things, they will get trampled and they die. And there are a lot of insects like mosquitoes, and we can take a case of fly, house fly, like that, many of them, the fruit flies. Then we have this light. For the light, there are flies who come and try to touch, and they get burnt out. So like that, there are so many insects. So non-killing, non-harming is the best way, because the the vyapada is not going to be there. Then if I am having compassion, okay, so what would compassion do? The vihimsa will not be there. So I will not harm, because there is no point in harming anyone while everybody is in the clutch of Mara. There is not even one person or one animal or one bird or one insect or any being, including Brahma and the Devas and all that, are not in the clutch of Mara. They are in the clutches of the Mara. So no point in feeling upset at all. Then the third one is, when I am having mudita, there is no arati, dissatisfaction. I am so happy to see that other beings or other human beings have much more better place to stay, better food, better clothing, and they're able to go here and there, their health is good, very nice. Not feeling dissatisfied with oneself or with others. And then when there is upekha, then there is no raga, which is part of abhijja. Then when there is animitta, that is signless, release of the heart, then there is nothing called sign, there is no sign. Then finally, when there is, let's say, Cheto Vimukti has happened, there wouldn't be any doubt in the mind that the Cheto Vimukti has not happened. So the doubt doesn't exist. So these 6 escape routes are for escaping from Mara. So once the person escapes from Mara, he will never be able to catch, because he can get into the jhanas, first, second, third, fourth, like that. So this is the practice what we need to do through Sapta Bhujanga, 7 Bhujangas. So if you are able to practice like this all the time and bringing in the Dasa Kusala instead of the Dasa Akusala, then what happens? At the time of Marana, the fear is not there. So the person has won over the fear. He is welcoming the death rather than fearing death. It doesn't matter the person suffers in the hospital, the person suffers at home, the person suffers anywhere before dying. But he internally doesn't suffer. Meaning people can see his body suffering, shaking, trembling. There is vomiting, there is dysentery, there is diarrhea, there can be innumerable diseases that is coming out of his body or her body. But that person mentally is at peace because he has won over the Mara. Now, why do we fear death? 2 reasons. We don't know where we are going. We don't know how the death is going to be, because unless the person dies, cannot sense what is death. But when he senses death, there is no way he can come back and explain, this is what I experienced as death. You have not seen anybody coming back and giving a lecture on how is death and what happens at the time of death. There are a lot of stories, there are a lot of theories, there are a lot of things what you get, but nobody knows how the death is going to be. Even though there are so much of literature on death, but that is the most mystery thing, that how does one die? It's okay, he's died, but where did he go? And that is the basic reason why we fear. And because of that, we don't want to let go of relationship, because we fear death. And in a way, we are very stubborn to let go of it, because the fear makes us to become very stubborn. And this is the army of the Mara. So through Saptabhujanga, one can relieve himself or herself from Mara. And there are various suttas which Buddha explains about coming out of Mara. So there is Mara Sutta. Like that, there are many suttas which Buddha talks about, which we already covered in the Sangiti Sutta as well. That how does one come out of Mara? And we have covered many suttas of that kind, wherein he explains about like Dvida Vitakka Sutta, what we did few days ago, again had that Mara, wherein the hunter is the Mara, and the deer represent the beings. So one who is careless, Mara will pick them up, but one who is careful, Mara cannot do anything. So without these impurities, there cannot be any rebirth. So what is Buddha recommending us is to move from Sotapanna to Sakadagami to Anagami and Arhat, so that there are no defilements. If there are no defilements, the consciousness will not get established anywhere. So then the famous verse, Vinyanam Anidasanam Anantam Sabbatopabam Yatta Patavi cha Apo cha Vayo na Tejo na Gadati Yatta Digam Sarasancha Anunathulam Subha Asubham Yatta Namancha Rupancha Asesam Uparicchati Vinyanasa Nirodhena Itesam Uparicchati. That can be experienced. That is, the consciousness is infinite and it is bright everywhere. So we are all established consciousness. How do we know we are established consciousness? Well, we can see that at the time of conception, the cells will start to mutate, and that's the reason the consciousness has entered. So we are established consciousness. Whereas in real terms, there is no establishment of consciousness. Vinyanam anidasanam, undirected, unestablished. Anantam, endless. Sabbato papam, shining everywhere. So we can see every human being, every animal, every bird, every living being is shining everywhere. There's no place where it is not shining, but they are individualized. That is the problem. Why are we individualized? Because of the affinity for Pathavi, earth element, Apo, Tejo, and Vayu. And because we associate with earth and water and heat and the air element, there is long and short, fat and lean, Shubha and Ashubha, gross and subtle also. Because now, because of association of the four elements, we can really see what is tall and what is short, what is fat and what is lean, because of this. Then we start calling by name. This is how the Mara is created. So when mind let goes of that, yatta namancha rupancha asesam parujjati, without even a small trace, if it is removed, then vinyanasa nirodhena, there is no further vinyana, meaning the chitta becoming vinyana is not there. It remains still manasam, and that's it. Ittesam uparujjati. Now it is completely removed. So the person experiences Cheto Vimukti, because there is nothing to get established. So when the death occurs, there is no longer any kind of establishment in any realm of existence. Why? Because the environment itself is not feasible for having such a experience. as this form or that form. It is the consciousness which is getting established. So now the consciousness is not getting established, and hence there is no fear. So this is what I wanted to cover today. I think I have completed what I wanted to cover. Anything to discuss on the Mara? Huh?
Since there is no steps to metta, compassion, mudita, and other two.
Okay, so the first one is metta. No, I'll just tell you. The second one is compassion. The
Yes.
third one is mudita. The fourth one is upekha.
Yes.
And the fifth one is the animitta, which means without sign. And the sixth one is cheto vimukti.
Okay. Okay.
And that removes all of the maras, except for marana mara, that is marana and the devaputta.
And this Sapta Bhujanga is Vijaya Bhujanga. Is that the
Ha, Swati ji?
Sapta Bhujanga, Vijaya Bhujanga, that is what?
No, that we had covered it in the 37 factors of awakening.
Okay.
When we did the both the Pakkiya Dhamma.
Okay. I remember that. I missed that.
No, that is okay.
Kind of food and that. What it is?
No, there are 7. So first starts with sati. Then once we have a proper understanding of the sati through the Mahasati Patthana Sutta, then we get to understand the Samadhiti through the Dhamma Vichaya. Then we come to the Virya Bhujanga, that is the energy. Energy to remove the akusala and add only the kusala. And then that is Samma Vayama we'll actually come into by that Virya.
And Prasiddhi Sapucha, what it is?
Pasiddhi means tranquility, calmness, peace.
Yes.
So you are always at peace, no matter what is happening anywhere. Mind doesn't get disturbed, basically, because of piti, which is joy. So there is peace. And then you are in samadhi. Then you are in upekha. These are 7 bhujanga. Any questions?
That is only the finding.
Okay, no worries.
That verse during Namaste Rupacha, that verse you said, no? Namaste Rupacha.
That one, okay, Vijnana Manidasanam. So that is one saying of the Buddha which is there, where he talks about what is Vijnana. Okay, so the Vijnana is V plus Jnana. Jnana means knowledge and V is not having. That means the consciousness doesn't have the knowledge of what really it is at present in all of us. So that's the reason it is called Vijnana. But in its original Chitta level, it is Vijnanam Anidasanam, undirected, unestablished. Sabbato Pabam, it is shining everywhere. So if we see each one of us, we are conscious beings, full of consciousness, but it is covered by thinking that I am so and so person. Asmi Mana is there, then we have doubt, we have Tinamida, then we have Udacha Kukkucha, then we have Vyapada, and then we have Kamachanda. All of these are related to the consciousness, which is the Chitta. So when we look at a Chittanupassana, we can see that we have Raga. So Saragam va Chittam, Saragam Chittam Pajanati, Vitaragam va Chittam. So like that we know there is Raga, there is Dvesa, there is Moha. And there is Viraga and Vita Moga, Vita Dosa and Vita Moha. Then other things are also there in the Chitta. So what he says is that Vijnanam Anidasanam Anantam Sabbato Papam. It's supposed to be lighting everywhere. But due to the establishment of Patavi, Apo, Vayu, Tejo, it gets caught up. Caught up as what? So as Digancha Rasancha, tall and short, Anu and Thula, that means atomic size, small size, and huge size. Shubha Ashubham, that is auspicious and inauspicious. And we start identifying through the Nama and Rupa. We'll call something which is Rupa, which is made out of Shuddhastaka, and when it is impinging, that is when it is hitting, Patigha, when it happens, when that touches, so we then identify that object. So then we call that object as something for easy remembrance. So there is sign. So once we create a sign, we get stuck with the sign. So we don't know what to do with the sign. So what he says is that if you are able to remove that, then Vijnana will get Nirodha. It doesn't arise again with all of this sign. And then it has found itself peace. So there is no Mara when that happens.
And there will be no Mara, then it is a to Vimukti.
Yes, Chitta Vimukti, because there is no rebirth after that.
And nothing will be there, right?
Yes.
And the beginning of your consciousness is not there, there is nothing.
The defiled consciousness, the conditioned consciousness goes away and it becomes completely unconditioned, which is the there are two dhatus. One is Asankata dhatu and Sankata dhatu. Asankata is there is no Raga Dvesha Moha. Raga Khayo, Dosa Khayo, Moha Khayo. Whereas Sankata is Raga, Dosa and Moha. Or Raga, Dvesha and Moha. So when we say conditioned, the question comes, what is that it is conditioned with? Conditioned with Raga, conditioned with Dvesha, and conditioned with Moha. So every action we are doing on the Paticca Samutpada cycle is with Raga, Dvesha and Moha. And that we are doing it through consciousness, because we are conscious beings, so we are doing through consciousness. So once we remove that from consciousness, consciousness becomes very pure. And when the consciousness is very pure, there is no rebirth. And when there is no rebirth, there is no Mara. No. No, Ragakhayo, Dosakhayo, Mohakhayo, Nibbana.
So we will establish in our Sankata.
Yes. And what is Dhatu? Dhatu is the quality. So we have established the quality of asankata, unconditioned. Whereas right now we are all conditioned.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. So if we don't have any questions, then we can end for today and again meet tomorrow with some other interesting topic.
Yes. All the topics are interesting.
Yes. Preeti ji, do you have any questions?
No questions, but it will happen all these in the stage of Arhat only, no?
No, it is not like that. It keeps on improving as we go step by step. It's not that everything only happens in Arhat.
No, all the Maharaj will go at this,
Yes, all the Maras will get over at Arhat, because in Anagami state there is a raga for the Rupa raga is there, the Arupa raga is there, all of that is there. Okay, that is all part of Mara only. But that person will not get established in the womb existence. Other than that, Anagami will get established elsewhere.
And this is escape, so 4 of them are they only, no?
Metta Sutta.
Yes. Compassion, these are all what we say.
Yes, so these are the 4 things of the Brahma Vihara. He is also part of release. Yes, yes. Other 2, one is Nimitta, one is the Cheto Vimukti.
These will be covered in Brahma Vihara also.
No, these 2 will not be covered in Brahma Vihara. Only the 4 one, yes. Yes. 4 one is part of Brahma Vihara only. Out of 6.
Then these only 2 are remaining.
Yes, the 2 are remaining.
का है?
बहुत भाव बढ़ गए हैं तुम्हारे।
तो तुमरो भी तो भाव बढ़ गए हैं।
तुम हमसे कंपटीशन करिए हो जब हमारा भाव बढ़।
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, so then good night and we'll meet tomorrow. Namo Buddhaya.
Namaste.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.